feeling lucky this morning?
A little bit.
I feel lucky. I'm gonna show them what we've changed on this thing.
So we've been having some trouble with the rawhide.
First trouble, might I add. First trouble. I will defend the rawhide till death.
Oh yeah, I'm not knocking the rawhide. So it has an electric over hydraulic jack, and when it works, it's fantastic. But when it doesn't work,
No bueno.
you're dead in your tracks. So we had some problems. We changed out a few pieces that we thought might be the issue. We had our motor cleaned up, and
Which was a problem.
yeah, it was a problem because the motor wasn't even working. But it's still not working exactly right.
Hey, how about quit rambling and hit that switch, and then we'll explain to them if it works.
So we think this was the problem.
It's usually me rambling. Now go down. Did you go down? It went up.
So when you do this, it's supposed to go up. When you do this, it's supposed to go down.
You know what I
What? So when we took the motor off, because we were having a problem when we put the power on it, it just wasn't doing anything. So we're like, all right, the motor's shot, whatever. We took this place in Carrollton, and when you took the back cover off, you could tell at one point, I think before we owned it, that box had filled up with some water, and so there was a line where there was water in there. So we're like, all right, there's our problem. And they cleaned it up, we brought it back, and it was firing, but I don't know, maybe something's still not quite right with the motor. But I feel like we've tried everything. About tired of throwing parts at it. All right. So we figured out though that I believe. Hey,
was that wire unhooked?
yeah.
That may be what it is.
All right, so circle back.
Hey, we don't know yet though. Put the wire on and
What we were figuring out once we got everything back going is if you unhook this wire, you could change directions. It wasn't working right with that wire hooked up, so we didn't realize we still didn't have that wire hooked
Fingers
up.
crossed. Fingers crossed. You got it stuck.
Yeah.
Right. There's the down.
There's down.
You know what I think it is? That wire's unhooked. Do you know what I've come to realize? We are two of the worst mechanics on this earth, but we're two of the best part swappers.
But isn't mechanicing just part swapping, really?
No, somebody's got knowledge to know what parts to swap. We just swap until something works. You mechanics out there will know.
We're pretty bad about starting with like the biggest
Yeah, hey,
part,
I've
like
learned that.
the most expensive part, and then it winds up being like a $5 part was the problem.
Hey, we have even looked at changing engines in trucks when we had dead batteries. So we have learned over periods of time, start with the most simple, easiest, cheapest thing and work your way up. I guess in the back right in there where the pessimism lives, that's why I always start with the biggest thing first.
When were we going to change an engine and it was the battery?
Just go with the storyline, Ben. Jesus.
Well, you're making us sound like we're not very bright.
Are we?
Good point.
I mean, we are still chicken farming. How smart are we? Very valid.
Chickens come back tomorrow.
Or you bet you won't latch that gooseneck.
You can cut feed if you'd like.
No. I'm gonna film while you work. You're trying to do there.
What's that?
Get me to do it all and
Spit it out.
yeah, beep. My mouth was working faster than my brain. That often
Mouth
happens.
is still a little frozen.
Yeah. I think my brain's a little frozen.
I'm getting too old for this.
I say that every day when I try to stand back up from something. You are old.
I got 1 bucket of feed. We can get 1 or 2 more.
Yeah. You never go to the field with 1 bucket of feed.
Well, that's just left over from yesterday.
Ready? Tell them what we're going to do, who we're going to get.
So we've got a bull that's in a pasture with 11 cows. And he's been in there for a little while, and everything in there should be bred.
And he's a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a little angry too,
He's
though.
an angry stud.
But we're going to move him to a pasture that does not have a bull in it currently. We've got lots of cows in there that are ready to be bred, which is right here at the house.
So
So
good advertisement for Rawhide, right?
Rawhide.
Here. Yeah.
We're going to take this.
Sorry.
So we're going to take this and go catch the bull, hopefully, load him on the trailer, hopefully, and put him out in this pasture and put him to work.
Tell him why he's an angry elf.
So when we first got him, we bought him as a yearling and we put him in a pasture, this pasture actually that we're going to. That's the only pasture he's ever really known. And he was there about a month and he got out in the neighbor's pasture. And there wasn't a good option. This was pre-Rawhide. Wasn't a good option to catch him, but we're going to try to just get him to go back through the fence where he went through, and it was all going well, and then he turned on us last minute and then kind of got to running pretty wild. This was in like July, I'm thinking. And so he took us for a pretty good run.
2-hour ordeal?
Yeah,
Maybe 3?
It was a pretty big ordeal, but we ended up getting him back in the pasture, and he has stayed ever since. But I think he remembers us and gets a little angry when we go to mess with him.
I will argue with anybody that bulls have a fantastic memory, because he has not forgotten that.
Yeah. So,
He's still angry.
let's go get him. Here he is. Let me just see.
All 2,000 pounds of anger.
Yeah. Bet you won't jump on his back.
I'd ride him before I'd ride a small bull.
He's pretty thick, but we think he'll go down this lane all right. We have learned through the moving of the rawhide that you always bring it in and set it up right when you're planning on catching. You don't bring it in a day early, because when you're unloading it, they're all very interested. And that's the easiest time to get them to go in there. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, no doubt. Always have your trailer ready. In the perfect world, if you had 2 guys coming in and setting up a rawhide and 1 person coming with a trailer.
Well, we've got the trailer parked right outside, so we can just run and grab it in a minute. You can see we didn't even fully set it up before they were pretty much wanting to come in. There's a couple calves in here that need weaning, but we're breeding a group of heifers on Tuesday. So we're gonna try to get that behind us before we go back and do any more weaning.
We may have to take him with a cow.
Yeah.
Or 3.
cowboying.
That's why you keep me around, son. You coming in here? You better come in a hurry.
Just get out of the way. It's like he knows where he's going.
Yeah, that was uneventful, except it squeezed the crap out of it. Literally. That's one of those situations where he goes where he wants to go, and you just try to make it look appealing for him, because there's no turning that bull, at least not from me, and I know not from this guy.
It's kind of like the reverse psychology you do in your kids. You make them think it's their idea. Same thing with Eric. Y'all don't tell him. We'll open her back up, let these cows out. We'll move another bull in here in a couple weeks. But our next, well, once we get all of our heifers bred, we'll come back and wean some here and work these.
Did you make that psychology remark about your kids or your wife?
Maybe my kids, maybe my wife.
She'll never watch this anyways.
Maybe you.
Okay, I see how that works.
I said maybe. So anytime that we're turning a bull or a cow or anything out into another pasture, especially when they're not familiar with, we always like to make sure there are cows and calves around. We don't want to just turn them out like they're by themselves and then have to figure out everything. So Eric's ridden out and he's calling up some of the cows. Who you talking to, bud? Off the top of the trailer? Oh, from here? It wouldn't take that much.
Frog splash. How much?
$200.
Would love to see it.
$200, I'll try.
$200.
Yeah.
Can I pay you with beef money?
Nope. Oh, then $400.
You know, the only reason I don't pay that
Why?
is because I don't want you to mess my bull up.
No, the reason you don't pay it,
that will like.
because we're getting chickens tomorrow, and if I break my leg.
Yeah, that's good.
All he'd do is run a little bit and he'd fall off.
Well, that'd be a good saddle.
Yeah. I don't know if I could spread my legs that wide. He's letting everybody know who the boss is. So we've got a buddy of ours is sending a load of some heifers to Joplin, Missouri, and he was about 8 or 9 heifers short. So we're going to grab about 8 or 9 of our heifers and finish his load out.
I'm gonna send all this to you as well.
All right, turning them out.
I think that's okay. There's one big green tag heifer right there, but I think she needs some time.
we are still hauling some water to the cows. Got a little bit of rain today. Supposed to rain the next 3 days, and hopefully by then we'll be done hauling water. But we did some videos this week, and for whatever reason, one of our cameras, the audio didn't work on several of the videos, so there's some content that we just had to throw out. Part of that was we did a drawing for the hat. I don't see the cow at the moment, but she and her calf stayed in, so if you said they would stay in, you got it right. We did the drawing, but there was no audio to it. But Aaron Brown 8166, you won the hat. So we'll reach out to you. Let me make sure that was yeah, Aaron Brown 8166. That's her. There's the cow out there, and her calf is in here somewhere. And we actually ended up just buying that pair. The owner made us a pretty good offer to buy them. And rather than try to catch them and him move them to his pasture and have to deal with them, he just said if we wanted to buy them, we could. And so that's what we ended up doing. But thank y'all for watching our video. Hopefully the video next week will do a little better when we have our audio all fixed up. Maybe. But y'all have a good one.